Hey guys, it's the Wolf Senpai here, bringing you with a new what if, and this is what if Deku was a pure-blooded werewolf, okay? And there's gonna be turned werewolves, born werewolves, and pure-blooded werewolves, but Deku will only be the only person in the entire world that is a pure-blooded werewolf, okay? Born werewolves, they can turn into a werewolf whenever they want, and turned werewolves, they can only turn into it either by force or a full moon. While the only difference between a pure-blooded and a born werewolf is a born werewolf has two transformations where they transform into a wolf, dire wolf looking, basically it's a wolf as big as like a horse. And then you got a pure-blooded werewolf that has three forms: a human form, demi-human form, which they have the wolf ears on their head and a wolf tail, and then they have their werewolf transformation where they're in their wolf form as big as a big stallion. Okay, that's their height, okay? But yeah, and there's also going to be vampires, and a pure-blooded vampire of the pure line normally has red eyes, but okay. There's going to be vampires and werewolves, and I don't know if I should add any more, like if I should add, shapeshifters or anything like that, so I don't think I am, to be honest. But I think I'm just going to stick to, werewolves and vampires and corked people. Humans, you could say. Okay, now I'm going to get into the story. Now, when Deku's life, he knows what he is. He knows that he's a werewolf, that he can't tell anyone that he's a werewolf. His parents told him just to pass it off as a quirk, that he has super strength and super speed, and yeah, and he has a transformation, and that's it. But his transformation, yeah, whatever. But one day when he was 8 years old, he's walking from school to his home, and he notices a whole bunch of people around his house. And when he notices a whole bunch of people and they're saying, "Oh my God, what happened to these people?" It was just awful. It looked like they were tortured to death by a whole bunch of weapons and shot at the end before they'd actually died. And no one ever knew what happened to them. And Deku is confused. And Deku's name ain't going to be Izuku Midoriya. It's going to be Izuki. I can't even say it now. Izuku Midoriya, Izuku Jinro. And freaking, that's going to be his name, which Jinro means werewolf in Japanese. So yeah. And this, he's wondering what's happening, why a whole bunch, and he hears what they say, so he pushes through the way, and he notices that he sees his mom and dad in a body bag. And he's wondering what happened, and he starts crying up and screams, "Mom, Dad!" Runs right underneath the yellow tape, and a cop tries to stop him, but he straight up knocks the cop down with a sheer strength. And he's like, "Mom, Dad, wake up! Please wake up! No, please!" And he's crying. And then all the people around him are saying, "Oh my God, that's so awful. That poor child, he lost his parents at such a young age. What's going to happen to him?" And everyone's like gossiping, wondering what's going to happen. And he's crying, saying, "Mom, Dad, please wake up." And they're all saying, "Poor child. I can't believe he lost his parents at such a young age." And yeah, that's basically what happens. And he gets put into an orphanage. And we're going to time skip to when he's 13. He finally gets a job a few months later. He buys an apartment. So he already has an apartment at the age of 13, and the orphanage is helping him out. The orphanage is helping him out and all that crap. And including, let's say that his parents were heroes and everything, not like top class, but not bottom class. Like they're in the top, let's say 20. They're not in the top 10, but they're in the 20s and everything like that. And they're known as a duo, and they have a similar quirk, but Yeah. But anyways, they freaking support Deku, including with the orphanage as well, and he also has a job for extra money as well. So he gets support from the, I guess you could say, state that supports him money for like because he's still underage and needs like money support, basically, yeah, to support him so he can have his own place and all that crap. And he also has his job to get extra cash, and the orphanage will help him because they help him with like uh, food and all that crap. So yeah, and this is what Deku looks like, by the way, when he's older. He has white hair and blue eyes. Yeah, that's why this picture's here. I don't know if I said that. Don't remember. But anyways, he's living alone, working and everything like that. Let's say, like, he works at a restaurant. He cooks. He knows how to cook. He knows how to play the guitar and all that crap. So yeah. And at school he's known as the no homo. Okay, no homo, guys. He's known as the most handsome guy at school and everything, and all the girls keep on asking him out, but he keeps on like turning them down and all that crap. And he turns them down nicely, but that doesn't stop them from keep on going in and out. Like every month, like he'll be like asked out by like the same girl, like freaking so many times, and like he keeps on saying no and everything. Like he gets asked out every day and all that crap, and he keeps on saying no and all that. But yeah, and Bakugo, he knew Deku from like a young age, and he feels sorry for what happened to him, but he's a little jealous that all the girls fawn over him and all that crap. So yeah. And Deku has met like werewolves that aren't like he met turned werewolves, like they were turned into a werewolf, but he's never met a born werewolf yet. Okay, he hasn't met a born werewolf yet, and he knows how to transform. He knows how to turn into his two transformations from his human transformation, the demi-human. The demi-human one is to make him like it makes him freaking faster, stronger. His hearing and smell is heightened, and so is his sight. But his werewolf transformation, his power is a little less than his demi-human, but his speed and agility is much faster, and so is his hearing and smell and eyesight is much better in that form. But his power is much stronger than his actual werewolf transformation. His demi-human transformation is much stronger than his werewolf transformation, I guess you could say. But his werewolf transformation is faster. So yeah, and agile. But I'm getting off the point. But Bakugo's jealous that all the girls fawn over him and everything. And he's only 13-year-old, living alone. He's living a relatively okay life after his parents passed away. He's mostly keeping to himself. He wants to know what happened to his parents, and basically he's not going on the path to revenge because he believes that is not what his parents would want from him. So he's going to become a hero. And yeah, and when let's say he's walking from work, and he notices a pink-haired girl sucking the blood of a human and everything, and he doesn't care what the vampires do because he doesn't care what the vampires or werewolves do, and he's not a hero, but he doesn't really care, to be honest. He's not a hero or anything like that. He's not going to try and stop it and act all the hero type. He's just going to walk and say, it's undecent to suck the blood right here, and he's walking straight towards the vampire, and she looks over at him and says, "Who are you?" And she's like, "Oh, so you know what I am, huh? Well, it's not like you're going to live as long as you are right now." Dang, I'm getting a phone call. Oh no, that was a text. Whatever. But a freaking yeah, that's what happens. He's walking towards, and she charges right at him, and he catches her hand like it was nothing. And pure-blooded werewolves are stronger than even a pure-blooded vampire. Just let's say that they're just 10% stronger. That's it. For some people, that'd be like a lot, but he's just 10% stronger than a pure-blooded vampire. And this girl is a pure-blooded vampire, and he says, huh, red eyes, huh? I heard that with vampires, that a vampire with red eyes normally has, normally, is a pure-blooded vampire. And she's like, so you know what I am, then you know that you're gonna die. And yeah, basically that's what happens. And they scrabble, and then he says, they have their fight. They talk for like, that anime where they talk while they're fighting and all that crap. So, and she's like, who are you? What's your name? And he says, my name is Izuki. I can't even say it. Izuku Jinro. Why can't I say his name sometimes? I say Izuki for some odd reason. Whatever. Izuku Jinro. And she's like, huh. And she's like, for a human, wait, you're not human, are you? And and he smiles and says, so you know what I am, don't you? And she's like, are you a pure-blooded werewolf? And she smiles and everything like that. And he says, yeah, so what about it? And she's like, I heard that a pure-blooded werewolf has the best blood there is around. She says, well, you could be a valuable person for me in the future. She puts down her fist, and she's like, I wonder. She's thinking to herself, I wonder, could I get him? If you know what I mean, guys. Could I make him mine, and mine alone? And that's basically what happens. And he's like, I don't even have time for this. And he starts walking home and everything. And she's like, you're quite interesting. I look forward to seeing you again. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And starts walking away. And then a week later, basically these are pictures of what he looks like. But anyways, a week later, they hear, and you're still 13, okay? They're not 15, getting ready to pass middle school and all that crap, okay? So, Izuku is like, he's in there studying. All the girls are fawning over him. He's just ignoring them all. And then, basically they hear, we got a new transfer student, and everyone's a little confused. And they're wondering, who's the transfer student? And Izuku pulls up his head to be respectful to the new student and everything like that. And someone raises their hand. Is it a girl or is it a boy? And the teacher says it's a girl. And everyone's wondering. All the guys are like, woo, yeah, because you know how anime people are, if you watch a lot of anime like I do. But all the girls are like typical boys. And they're like, but they look over at Izuku, or Deku. They look over at Deku, and they notice that he's not cheering, like, he's just paying attention, looking. And then they're like, at least he's not like all the other boys. And basically, you got Bakugo, and he says, yeah, but I bet they have a weak core, ha ha ha, and all that crap. And you know how he is. And basically, yeah. And then she walks in, and this girl, everyone's like, oh my god, is that a mom? Like, oh my god, she's so beautiful and everything like that. And she's like pink, they're like pink hair, and then Deku like stands up, and he's a little shocked about that he sees the same girl, and here's a picture of her. And yes, I know, if you all seen the Seraph of the End, you know her. She is Krul Tepes. I'll type it down in the description what her name is. It's Krul Tepes. She's Queen Krul. She's a queen. She's the queen of vampires. And yeah. And they ask like, what's your quirk and all that. She says that I have a healing fact. She's like playing it off like she has a quirk and everything, smiling. And she's like, I have a quirk. Her quirk is she has a healing factor, super strength, super like. And they say, wow, you basically have a really good quirk and everything. Yeah. And then she says, and then another student raises her hand. So why did you come to the school? Was it for family reasons? Like, and then she points directly at Izuku and everything. She says, I came here for him. And all the girls are shocked when they say that, and all the guys are like, no, he got another girl. He got another one of the school's Bellas or something like that. And all the guys are like jealous, and he's looking right at her, and they make eye contact, and he's just glaring right at her. And she's just sitting there smiling and everything like that. And yeah, then the teacher says you can sit over there, and like about to point like a few seats down from like Deku and everything like that. Like, and then she starts walking right next to towards Deku and everything, and all the guys are like wondering what she's doing. And she looks right at the girl right next to Deku, and she says, "Would you please kindly move, if you would?" And she mind compulsions her to move and everything like that. And this will be my seat now and everything like that. That's what she does, and yeah, she sits down and she's like, I told you you'll be mine and everything. I will make you mine. And then Hazuku's just annoying her and everything. And then it's lunchtime. Okay? And she's like, come with me. And she walks and like, she says, no, she doesn't say come with me. She says, meet me on the roof in 5 minutes. And then she goes to the roof waiting for him. And then he goes to the roof, and then, they start having, that talk, and he says, what are you doing here? And everything. She said, I told you I was going to make you mine. You have the rarest blood on this planet. You were most likely the last pure-blooded werewolf there is alive. And I heard that werewolf blood is extremely valuable for us vampires. I was wondering if you could let me at least bite you just once. I want you to be mine. Besides, you're kind of decent on the eyes, too. I wouldn't mind you being mine forever. That's what she says. And he's getting a little annoyed, and then she like, how should I say this? He's standing there a little frustrated, and she's like, aw, did you fall for me and everything? And he gets really mad, and he picks her up by the neck and slams her right into the wall, making a freaking, like, not breaking the wall or anything, but like cracking the wall. Not for the other side, but for the side they're on. Not trying to break it or anything like that. And he's like, what are you doing here? I don't want anything to do with you all or anything like that. I want to be left alone. And she's like, when I noticed you, you will be mine. I am the queen of vampires after all, and I do get what I want. And I say, yeah, but I am the king of werewolves. That's what Deku says. And she's like, yeah, but I guess that means we're meant to be together. And everything. A king and a queen together and last. And Deku's getting mad and everything like that. And he's like, he says, you know I can kill you. And she says, yeah, but I know you won't. And he's a little shocked about that. And she says, I know. You're a kind-hearted person, but you can be angry at sometimes. You won't kill me. Unless if you absolutely have to. And I'm not going to do anything to oppose a threat. I just want you to be mine and mine alone. I don't want anyone to have you. And she as she's still being holded up, and she touches his cheek, you will be mine, I swear it. I will make you fall for me. And Deku drops her and everything, starts walking down the stairs. And she smiles. And then, for the past year, so now they're 14. Okay, they're 14 now. I gotta get rid of some of these pictures. Like, I know that this is what he looks like. I'll keep this one, I guess, but I'm getting rid of these too. For the last year, she's been flirting with him. He's getting a little more open with her, and Queen Krul has been noticing this, and Deku hasn't noticed that he's slowly opening himself to her or anything like that, and all the girls are still fawning over him and everything like that. But all the girls say that him and Krul would be a perfect match for each other and everything like that. So yeah, and Deku, he doesn't care, to be honest. Like, he's slowly falling for her, but he doesn't even notice it. Like, he opened himself for her. Like, he'll have a conversation with her and everything, and like, she'll embarrass him occasionally, and sometimes he'll like get mad depending on like what the situation is. But he'll like get flustered, and she says, "Aw, did you get flustered?" and everything. And he looks away and says, "No, I did not get flustered," and everything. You typical anime stuff. And yeah, and she says, "Well," and then basically later on, he notices that a year after she came here and everything, he notices that the neighbor moved out, and he's like, the neighbor moved out. I wonder who's my new neighbor and everything. And he goes to greet the new neighbor, and it's Queen Krul. And I know you're saying a year later, and she's like, yep. She didn't want to force it. She didn't want to like oppose on him. And now she's living there, and she's like smiling, says, "Oh, so you're gonna greet me now?" And he's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "Well, I live here now." And she's like, "Well," she says as well, "I do want to be as close as to my future husband." And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "I told you, I will make you fall for me eventually." And he sighs and says, "You're still on that?" He says, "I acknowledge that we are at least past acquaintances and like at least on friends, but I don't think that we are at least there, and you're still pushing for marriage." And she's like, "Well, I am the queen of vampires and you are the king of wolves. It's perfect for us." And basically that's what happens. They're 14, and now we're gonna skip to the beginning of the anime. And let's say that Deku's still working and everything like that. Queen Krul would stop at the shop and talk to him, and he's opened himself up. Everyone mistakes Queen Krul for his girlfriend, and they say that he's a perfect match for each other. And then let's say that let's say that his parents died a month before the sludge villain attack, and every year on that attack he's like skipped school and everything, and all the school knows why he skipped school on that exact day, because that's the day his parents died, and he always skips school and everything. And he goes to the gravesite of his parents, and then Queen Krul shows up, and he says, "What do you want?" And she's like, "So, this is the place you've been going for the past year on this day," and everything like that. And he says, "Yeah." He says, "So what about it?" And she says, "So these were your parents and everything?" And he says, "Yeah, these were my parents." And she says, "Well, they might be gone, but they're not fully gone and everything." And he says, "What do you mean?" And she says, "Well, for us vampires, we live for eternity, but for humans and werewolves, you will die eventually. But us werewolves can still be killed and everything. Us vampires can still be killed, but we still don't age or anything like that. Basically, we can live basically for eternity without dying for thousands of years. But we can't age or anything like that." And so he says, "So what about it?" And he says, "Well, well, you guys all have a gift. You all can live happily and die happy lives. But us werewolves can live longer than humans. Sure, they can live at least a few good 100 years, at least to 150. The longest I've ever heard a werewolf living was for a turned werewolf was 100 years old, and a born werewolf for 200, but a pure-blooded werewolf can at least live up to 500 years if they get lucky. If they don't get hunted down like they normally do before they even reach past the age of 100. And basically, she's talking to him and everything, trying to comfort him, and she says they might be gone, but they left you their legacy. You are their legacy. You are their blood. You are their son. I know they loved you. I can tell that by how you act. And she's comforted him and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, the rain starts to pour and everything like that, and he's getting drenched. And yeah, Deku turns around and he how should I say this? I guess he kisses Krul. He kisses her. Okay? He kisses Queen Krul, and she smiles and everything, and she says, "So you're finally gonna open yourself to me?" And he says, "I don't know if I'm ever gonna open myself to anyone." And she says, "Well, she says, I know. For werewolves, you all are loyal to your lover until the day you will both die. You have one lover in your whole life. You don't have any other." And she says, "I wouldn't mind being that one lover for your whole life. I will never cheat or do anything to hurt you. I will always be there for you." And everything like that. And she says that even if the world turns against you, I will be there with you. Even if I have to betray turn down my position as the queen of vampires, I will come running for you. Because on the day I first saw you, I fell for you instantly. And basically that's what she's talking about. And Deku is a little shocked. And because now they're 15 years old, and some nowadays 15-year-olds, how should I say this? They do the deed. Basically, they go to Izuku's house, you could say, and do the deed. Yeah, they go at it. Let's just say that. Skip past it. And Deku... Let's say that Deku knows how to cook. He knows how to play the guitar. He knows how to drive. Let's say that he has a motorcycle. And freaking Queen Krul and him ride to school and everything. Now, they've been dating. Let's say that happened. It was a weekend and everything, and everyone knew that they weren't dating, but they would be a good match for each other. And now they are finally dating after 2 years. Like Queen Krul trying to get him to fall for him, and he finally did. He finally fell for her. I mean, in real life, if she was real, I would have fell for her too. Like, dang, Queen Krul, you kind of bad though. But anyways, yeah. Freaking, they go to school. This is the first time they rode together. And everyone was wondering, like, because Izuku never rode a motorcycle. Now he finally got his freaking motorcycle license, and he always had the bike. He had it, but it was like he couldn't drive. He didn't like drive it or anything because he didn't have his license. Now he does, and now he like goes to the. He goes there with Queen Krul. All the girls are like, "Oh my God, it's the perfect couple," and all that crap. And there's like, and they all run to us and everything like that, and they say, "Why did you come to school together? Are you two finally dating and everything?" And I look away, and Queen Krul smiles and says, "Yep, I finally got him to fall for me," and everything like that, with a devilish grin on her face and everything. And then she looks right at Deku and says, "I told you I'd get you two." And he says, "Shut up, will you?" And everything. All the girls start laughing and everything, gossiping, going around school. And then we're going to skip to the slit. Jill and Tech, they're walking. We're going to skip to, like, the teacher, like, what do you all want to be when you grow up and everything like that. And then he throws his papers up in the air. Of course you all want to be heroes and everything. Everyone starts using their quirks but me and Queen Krul. And then Bakugo says, the teacher says, Bakugo, you're applying to UA. And he's like, yeah, I'm better than you all. Giving the same speech and everything. And then it says, it looks like Izuku and Krul are applying to UA too. And you're wondering why he's a vampire? She just wants to be with Deku. She just wants to be with him. And there are a few good vampires and everything, but she will still drink blood and everything like that. But Deku hasn't given her any blood. He likes her, but he's not like in love with her. Like it's that kind of like, but he's like giving her a shot because she seems to actually like him, so she's giving her a shot. So yeah. And Deku is like there, and he's basically he hears that, and everyone's like, well, if it's those two and everything, they most likely can get in because of how athletic and smart and how strong they are. There's no doubt that they can get in, and yeah, basically that's what happens. And Bakudo doesn't disagree, but he's a little mad that they're going to UA because he thought that he would be the only one, because Izuku has that I don't care about anything kind of personality. And yeah. So yeah, and he thinks that Izuku thinks that he thinks that Izuku thinks that he's better than him. So yeah. You get the picture. But Izuku just doesn't care. Deku does not care at all. And basically, yeah. Then they're walking and freaking Queen, they get attacked by the sludge villain. Sludge villain says, I didn't know he was here. I didn't know that freak was here and everything like that. I didn't know. And then he launches at both Krul and Deku and try and attach. They could smell him and hear him and everything. They both dodge as fast as they could, and they're fighting him. And then he decides to change into his demi-human form and everything. And his demi-human form can like make shockwaves like All Might's Detroit Smash, but a little weaker and everything. Like if he fought at full strength and everything, he could most likely win against All Might, but not in power and mostly speed and everything. But he could get a lot of hits and everything, because if you had to put a person with a lot of power and like barely any speed to a person with like barely any power with a lot of speed, the person with barely any power will the one with more speed would most likely win, because he could dodge all of the power punches, basically. So yeah, but he's still strong and everything, and he punches, and then it spreads him out. Basically, it's similar to the Detroit Smash, but weaker, I guess you could say. And then All Might comes, and then the sludge villain is forming himself, and he does a Detroit Smash, and Deku and Krul doesn't fawn over him like that or anything like that. And he says, you two fought well and everything. You two would make good heroes, because he saw what they did, and then he decided to jump in when the sludge villain decided to like go together and everything like that. You two would make really great heroes. And he jumps off with the sludge villain. There is no, he doesn't drop the sludge villain or anything like that. And then they don't train at like they train, but they don't train. Like they train their fighting style, and yeah. And Deku doesn't he doesn't have to work anymore, but he still kind of does. You could say, like, he works, but he doesn't work at the same time because Queen Krul is like a freaking millionaire. Like she owns a multi-million-dollar company, and you're wondering like why does she live in an apartment? She just wanted to be with Deku. She just wanted to. That's why she's a multi-millionaire, like, and all that crap. And Deku has over the 10 months time skip and everything of them like hanging out, going on dates. Deku has actually fallen in love with her, and you know they've done the deed quite a bit. They've done the deed. So Deku is not a V anymore. He lost it. He doesn't have his V card anymore. He's a man. He's a real man. But anyways, they go and they take the test, and they go to the exam. They don't trip or anything like that, so there's no meeting Uraka or anything like that. And then Deku passes the test, same with Queen Krul, and yeah, then the exam happens, and then Ida points out that the 0 pointer and all that crap happens. Everything happens the same, just with Krul at it. And then when they're smashing robots, they're actually working together as a team. Okay? They're destroying, sometimes they'll like destroy a robot together and everything like that, and like they would use like combo moves and everything like that. And then they would like hear a scream, they would look back, and then they would see a girl trapped behind rubble, and then they'll see the ginormous 0 pointer, and then the 0 pointer is getting ready to step on her, and both Deku and Queen Krul speed there. Well, Deku speeds there. Queen Krul doesn't really care. The only person she cares to protect is technically Deku. She doesn't care about anyone else. She just wants to protect Deku and everything like that. So when she sees Deku run to try and save her, he throws the rocks, run, because he has super speed, basically. He picks her up, runs, sets her down, and everything. He notices that the robot, and he does have super strength and everything like that. So he transforms into his demi-human form and everything, and he wasn't in his demi-human form, he was fighting in his human form, and he still has that much strength, and now he's even faster and stronger, and then he jumps up and everything and just punches it and everything. He punches it rapidly and everything, destroying the metal. His fists are going through and everything. And basically the robot is like self-destructing. Like he ripped out the wire. Like he punched his hand through and ripped out the wire and everything like that. And the robot is starting to self-destruct and everything. He jumps off the robot and then it starts self-destructing. And so yeah, Deku saved them and everything. She basically, Queen Krul says, "Why did you save the girl and everything? You could have been squashed and everything." She said you wouldn't have died, but you would have broken a few bones and everything. It might have healed over a few hours, but still, like, that was dangerous. And he says, but he's perfectly fine. And this is the outfit that he is wearing when he takes the exam and everything like that. He gets word that he got three sets of scores. He got a score for destroying robots, which I'm just gonna say he gets he passes All Might's record, you could say, with points alone. He passes All Might's record with points alone. Because I don't know how many points All Might got. So I'm just going to say All Might got like 150 points. Okay, and Deku's going to get 200, okay? He gets 3 sets. He gets 60 points, obviously, for saving Uraka. He gets teamwork points, and he gets 60 points for teamwork, so that leaves him at 120 points right now, and then he gets 80 points for destroying robots. So yeah, and that's basically what happens, and Queen Krul gets 80 plus 60 and blah blah blah, all that crap, and Deku beat All Might's record, gets notified that, and then Deku and them are riding, like, they have, since Deku has his license and everything like that, he starts to he has a parking spot, you could say. He's the freshman. He's the only freshman with a license, you could say. And he goes there, and Krul and them open the door, and they notice that the door is really big, and so yeah. And Deku and they're all shocked and everything like that. And they said, "How did you know that there were rescue points and teamwork points and all that crap?" And they said that they didn't know about that, you could say. And yeah. And he says, "So what? You just work together?" And Queen Krul says, "Well, of course." And all the girls in the class are like looking at Deku and everything like that. And Queen Krul notices, and she gets a little jealous, and she says, "Well, of course we work together. After all." And she says this with a grin on her face. And Izuku's a little confused, and he's like, "What is she gonna do now?" And she wraps her arm around Deku and everything. And he's like, "Oh no, don't tell me she's gonna say." And he's getting ready to cover her mouth and everything like that. And she says, "Me and Izuku are lovers and everything. We do it nearly every night." And he as soon as he puts his hand right on her mouth, she said that, and everyone is shocked, like, "What?" and everything like that. And he's like, a little humor there. But yeah, Deku is shocked, and he's a little embarrassed and he's like, now they're all gonna think that I'm a pervert and everything like that. But that's what he's thinking. He has his hands on his head, and so one of the girls, Uraka says, "So what? Are you two lovers and everything like that?" And she says, "Well, obviously, we're dating and everything, and we're engaged to each other. We're meant to be and everything like that." And they say, "What do you?" And she says, "What do you mean?" And she says, "Do you know those fairy tales where since his power is similar to a werewolf and mine is similar to a vampire's, I thought it would be quite romantic if we got together, and so I've been trying to push each other, but I did fall for him at first sight when I first saw him. I didn't even know that he had werewolf powers until I saw it, but I was like, it was meant to be and everything." And Uraka's like, "Oh, that's so romantic," and everything like that, and all the girls were like that too, and like everything like that, and he's a little flustered, like, "Oh god, no, this is gonna be my high school life in UA." And freaking he sits down. Queen Krul sits right next to him and everything like that. And then Azawa says, "It took you 8 seconds to be quiet and everything. That takes too long and all that crap. You're not here to make friends. You're here to be heroes." Blah blah. Giving the same speech. Put on your training outfits and everything, and meet me on the training ground. And I think it was Ida or Momo. It was either or that said, "What about the orientation?" And he says villains don't wait for heroes for anything. Gives the same speech. And then he says, "Deku, how far could you throw the ball without using your cork and everything?" And he's like, "Without using my cork?" He's like, "That's a toughie because, I mean, I can control my strength and everything like that, but my cork is permanently kind of activated all the time. I mean, I can control my strength and everything like that, but if you had to say my weakest throw could probably be about 80 meters. And he's shocked when he says 80 meters and he says that's his weakest throw. He says 80 to 100 meters. And he says that's his weakest throw. And he says, okay, throw it with all your might and everything like that. Throw it with every force in your being. And he says, okay. And he gets in a pitching position and he throws it. And instead of getting a 703.31 point higher than Bakugo's, he gets a freaking whopping 1,000. Wait, no, let's make it even more crazy. He gets 1,000 and he turns into his demi-human form and everything, and he throws it and he gets a whopping 2,000. And freaking, he's a little shocked about that and everything. So you have enhancement quirk, and you can also transform, which it also enhances your power even more and everything like that. And he says, yes, I have three technically, I have two transformation, but three forms: a human form, a demi-human form, and a basic wolf form, he says. And my demi-human form increases my strength and my speed, but my wolf form increases my speed more than my strength, while my demi-human form increases my strength more than my speed. And he says, wow, that's quite fascinating and everything like that. And basically, Krul and Deku are going to be at the top, shattering every single record that's ever been in UA. Besides the ball throw, because, well, technically yes, but technically no. Because someone without a gravity quirk, you could say. And I don't know how far All Might could throw a ball. Close to 2,000, I'm guessing. Close to 2,000 meters. I'm going with that. I'm pretty sure that if he uses his full power back in his prime, he could have. I don't know if he could now. But, yeah. And then I think it's where I'm going to end it. I hope you all liked this story. And like, comment, share, and subscribe. And, yeah. And I want some names and everything, because I'm going to introduce, like, a few new characters and everything. Like, I guess you could say that werewolves are going to start following Deku and everything like that. Like, they see him as the alpha, you could say. Like, they're going to be like a few pure, like, born werewolves, and then there's going to be mostly like turned werewolves and everything like that. Like, Izuku can, like, force them to turn into a werewolf, but they can't force themselves to turn into a werewolf. They can only turn into a werewolf in, like, a full moon, or if someone forces them to. But anyways, I would like some names for, like, a few good werewolves, like female, male, I don't care. Like, basically it's going to be like a gang of werewolves, you could say. And the only reason why Deku is technically doing this it's mostly to get a hero license so he can use his power. That's mostly why. So anyways, I hope you liked this story. We'll see you all next time. And before I go, I will do, like, what if Asta was an elemental dragon? What if Naruto was a girl? I'm mostly going to do those on the weekend. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed.